Salesforce, the day software left the building. For decades, software behaved like a machine. You bought it, installed it, maintained it, upgraded it, fixed it when it broke. Every company that wanted critical software needed servers, IT departments, complex installations, expensive licenses. Software wasn't just a tool. It was infrastructure. Then a company in San Francisco asked a radical question. What if software worked more like electricity? What if businesses could simply access it when needed? Through a browser, over the internet, without installing anything, without maintaining massive systems. The idea sounded unrealistic, even dangerous. Yet it would help reshape enterprise technology and create one of the most influential business models in modern history. This is the story of Salesforce, the company that helped software leave the building. To understand Salesforce, we first need to understand how software worked before it arrived. Imagine you're running a company in the 1990s. You need customer management software, accounting software, business applications, enterprise systems. You don't open a browser. You don't create an account. You don't subscribe. Instead, you purchase software licenses, install software locally, maintain hardware, manage upgrades, hire specialists to keep everything running. The process was expensive, slow, complicated. For many businesses, software wasn't simply a purchase. It was a project, and projects create friction. In 1999, Salesforce was founded in San Francisco by Mark Benioff, Parker Harris, Dave Moellenhoff, Frank Dominguez. The founders believed something important. The internet wasn't merely a communication platform. It could become a delivery platform. Instead of installing software locally, companies could access software remotely, through a web browser. The concept sounds obvious today. At the time, it challenged decades of assumptions. Because enterprise software wasn't supposed to work that way, Salesforce didn't try to reinvent all software at once. It focused on a specific category: customer relationship management, CRM. Companies needed systems to track customers, sales opportunities, business relationships, sales pipelines. Existing CRM products were often expensive and difficult to manage. Salesforce proposed a different approach. Access the application through the internet. Pay through a subscription. Let Salesforce manage the infrastructure. A fundamentally different model. Salesforce became famous for a provocative slogan, "The end of software." The phrase confused many people. Obviously, software wasn't ending. Software was becoming more important than ever. The slogan meant something else. The end of traditional software delivery. The end of endless installations. The end of complicated upgrades. The end of managing everything locally. Salesforce wasn't changing what software did. It was changing how software arrived. And sometimes delivery models become more important than products themselves. If you followed Bay Origins, this should sound familiar. Netflix didn't invent movies. It changed how movies were delivered. Uber didn't invent transportation. It changed how transportation was accessed. Airbnb didn't invent hospitality. It changed how hospitality was distributed. Salesforce followed the same pattern. It didn't invent enterprise software. It reinvented software delivery. And that distinction changed an industry. At first, many organizations were skeptical. Could critical business applications really live somewhere else? Could important data be stored outside company buildings? Could internet-based software be reliable enough? These concerns were reasonable, but Salesforce offered compelling advantages: lower upfront costs, faster deployment, continuous updates, access from anywhere, no massive installation projects, no major software upgrade cycles. The experience felt different, and over time, businesses began embracing the model. One of Salesforce's most important contributions wasn't technological. It was economic. Traditionally, software behaved like a product. You purchased it, owned it, installed it. Salesforce helped popularize a different idea: software as a service, SaaS. Instead of ownership, customers purchased access. Subscriptions replaced licenses. Recurring revenue replaced one-time sales. Continuous improvement replaced periodic upgrades. This shift would spread throughout the technology industry. Today, countless software companies follow the model. But Salesforce helped prove it could work at scale. The cloud era begins. It's important to be precise here. Salesforce did not invent cloud computing. Many technologies contributed to the cloud: networking, distributed computing, data centers, internet infrastructure, hosted services. Nor was Salesforce the first company to deliver software online. Its significance lies elsewhere. It demonstrated that mission-critical business software could succeed through the internet. At scale, for large organizations. That proof changed executive thinking. And once executives believe a model works, adoption accelerates. Looking back, Salesforce represents a major transition in technology history. The first generation of computing focused on hardware. The second generation focused on software. The third generation focused on networks. Salesforce helped usher in an era where software became a continuously available service. The distinction seems subtle. It wasn't. Entire industries reorganized around the concept. Customer management, human resources, marketing, collaboration, accounting, productivity. Software became increasingly accessible, increasingly global, increasingly flexible. The cloud wasn't merely a technology shift. It was a business model shift. Throughout Bay Origins, we've watched Silicon Valley repeatedly remove barriers. Google reduced friction in finding information. PayPal reduced friction in moving money. Uber reduced friction in transportation. LinkedIn reduced friction in professional networking. Salesforce reduced friction in software adoption. And once again, the pattern appears. A mature industry, a complicated process, a simpler delivery model. The result wasn't a new category of technology. It was a new way of accessing technology. Which brings us back to the question at the heart of Bay Origins. Why did it happen here? Perhaps because Silicon Valley repeatedly understands that innovation isn't always about inventing something new. Sometimes it's about making something valuable dramatically easier to use. The innovator's ledger. Lesson 1. Distribution can be a breakthrough. Salesforce didn't reinvent CRM software. It reinvented how CRM software was delivered. Sometimes the greatest innovation is changing access rather than functionality. Lesson 2. Business models matter. The SaaS revolution wasn't just technical, it was economic. Recurring subscriptions created different incentives, different relationships, and different opportunities. Never underestimate the power of a new business model. Lesson 3. Challenge assumptions everyone else accepts. In 1999, many people assumed critical software had to live on local servers. Salesforce questioned that assumption. Major opportunities often emerge from challenging industry conventions. Founders question, Salesforce succeeded because it changed how software reached customers. What product in your industry is still being delivered the old way simply because that's how it's always been done? Closing, Salesforce did not invent enterprise software. It did not invent cloud computing, and it did not invent the internet. What it reinvented was delivery. By helping software escape the confines of company buildings, Salesforce accelerated one of the most significant transitions in modern business technology. Software became a service. The cloud became mainstream. And once again, the future emerged from the Bay Area. This is Bay Origins, birthplace of the future.